Hey guys, how's it going? Eli here, back with another video where today we're going to be having a conversation whether Astral Radiance is going to bomb now that the final set list has been fully revealed. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as always, getting out of the way, if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, all you have to do is leave a like, comment down below, and be subscribed to the YouTube channel. We post content each and every week for you to comment and like on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, you can comment on and like any of those videos, which will allow you to be entered in, of course, if you are subscribed. Make sure as well to click the notification bell to stay up to date on all things that we post. And lastly, as far as what we're going to be giving away, we're still going to be giving away Brilliant Star Packs, but starting the following week when Astral Radiance comes out, we're going to be giving away Astral Radiance Break Packs, one full booster box, split among 3 people each week, so 12 person per pack, so 3 opportunities to win, and then 4 opportunities to enter. But now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into today's video. So I want to say I made a video about a month and a half ago where we kind of took a look at the Astral Radiance set, and one of the first things I had really talked about, if you want to go take a look at it, one of the first things I had really discussed was this set doesn't exactly look the worst, but it doesn't look the best. I feel as if one of the biggest discussions I've had with other PokeTubers and my own personal belief is that certain sets that perform the best are sets that have anchor cards. And what is an anchor card? Anchor card is just a terminology for basically a Charizard in a set, a Rayquaza in a set, Evolutions in a set, just character cards that have an extreme amount of value to the point of where even if a set, bombs completely, it at least is going to have a strength of a certain chase card that people are always going to want to have. If you take a look at sets like Battle Styles, it has a Tyranitar, which people are huge fans of Tyranitar, but it's not strong enough for Battle Styles to have a high demand even after reprints. Same with Chilling Reign, it has a Blaziken and a Snorlax, both desired after cards, but not an exorbitant demand for it. And then you take a look at, once again, a set like Evolving Skies, on the other hand, where there's so many great pulls, Brilliant Star, so many great pulls, to the point of where you've got the Charizards, you got the Rayquazas, you got the Evolutions, Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, you've got the Charizard, you got the Pikachu. You need those cards. And as much of a bummer as it sounds, because you hear it overused a lot, but you need a lot of those cards for sets to perform, Even if you're not the biggest fan of Charizard and you're sick and tired of it, well, from just a collectability perspective, for a set to do well, you're going to need it, because otherwise no one's going to touch a set, or you're going to need some other strong, card, such as, like Evolving Skies, which has Rayquaza or the Evolutions. But I digress. I'm missing besides the point, or I'm getting past the point. So the point of that being Astral Radiance. If you haven't already taken a look at the full set list, you can see right here are all the gold cards. You can check this out at PokeBeach. There's other places you probably can check it out on by just looking online. But here's a lot of what the rainbows, the gold cards are, in regards to what they actually have in it. Outside of the general Hisuian variations of Palkia, Dialga, and some other cards, they do have a Machamp, which a Machamp, once again, in my opinion, is not a card that is going to be an anchor card. You've got some alternate art cards, which they're at least going to be incorporating still into the set, so that's good news, because if they didn't have alternate arts, that'd be, that'd be an issue. We've got the MC Etcher design, which I think is really cool that they went with the Palkia. So it's not like the set doesn't have nothing in it, it has some things that are really cool as far as artwork. Speed Drill's really cool. It's it has some things, right? But with that being said, does it have any anchor cards in it? So we were waiting for character rares to be fully revealed, because there was a massive list of character rares that have still not been thrown into sets. Now it has been finally revealed, the remaining character rares. And lo and behold, come to find out that what has been involved in the character rares that is going to change the minds of the way in which they look at the set. It has been Shadow Riders, Calyrex, and then the Ice Rider Calyrex. Other than those general cards, a couple of the trainer cards that were released, a couple regular cards such as like a Kingdra and so on. You can take a look at the list for yourself right now, and that was kind of it. just a bunch of Calyrex cards and some other items. So with that being said, getting into the main point, do I think that a Calyrex is going to take a set that was going to be okay? It's not that bad. I could see it do well if it had some stronger cards added to it, and then you add Calyrexes to it. Now, to those people that are huge fans of Calyrex, I do apologize because I'm about to dunk on them. Those cards are no one gives a crap about. Like, cool. Sure, the art designs look pretty nice for like Vs and like character rares, but that's not going to help this set out. If anything, there's an argument to be made it's going to hurt the set. In my thoughts or personal opinion on what is going to happen for Astral Radiance, we're going to give multiple opinions. We're going to give my personal opinion on the set. We're going to see what the market looks like and how this set could do good. Or do bad. But the first part I'm going to be giving is my personal opinion on the set, on where I rank it. So from the best ranking, which would be Evolving Skies, Brilliant Star, to the lowest ranking in this era of, alternate arts and so on, because we'll do alternate art era, probably battle styles and like Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike. That's kind of your middle of the road, I guess you can say. I'm going to probably put this set somewhere in the middle around the Chilling Reign / Fusion. That's where I'm going to put it. And it's very interesting that I'm going to put it around there because it could honestly go either way. Because if you really think about Chilling Reign, like Chilling Reign has a lot of the same cards. Like it has the Galarian Birds. It has those Shadow Rider cards, which are a lot of the big hitters. The difference is this set has more character rares, and that set has more alternate arts, and it has some, of course, of the Blaziken. It does have a Snorlax, which is cool. So it has a little bit of like different variation on what you like. The question is, how much more do people like character rares more than a difference of having more alternate arts? That's going to come down to the cards, I feel like. So I would say it's right around the Chilling Reign. And that's not to say Chilling Reign's a bad set, and that's not to say that this is a terrible set by any means, but it's just going to be a very middle of the road set that's probably not going to perform really strong from a like demand perspective. That's just because the cards they're not that strong. They're just not many good cards in this set that people can like desire. And I was having a conversation the other day with some of the people in the chat, and one person said there's not a single card that's going to be worth over $100. And I had said, well, what about the Garchomp? And he's like, well, the Garchomp is a character rare, and I don't know of a single character rare worth over $100. And I'm like, I guess you have a point, because when you take a look at these character rare cards, none of these cards are going to be worth over $100 because there's no demand for any of them. You take a look at a lot of these rainbow and gold cards, I don't think you can make an argument any of them is going to be over 100. And then you take a look at like the ancient origin forms for Dialga and Palkia and some of the other alternate arts, there's no way they're going to be over $100. Whether you want to say that as a good thing or a bad thing, because if people are like, oh, well, I'm a collector, I want it to be cheap. Well, even if you are a collector and you want it to be cheap, if you're opening a lot of this product and you're getting repeats constantly, you at least want to be able to have one chase card that you could pull that's going to make up for your losses on your repeat cards. And you're going to have other cards that are going to be worth something. So it's not to say that like you don't want cards that are going to be on the more expensive side. You just want that balance of expensive cards to cheap boxes, right? And so that goes into the next discussion point that we're going to be taking a look at, which is the price per box. So the box price was going for around $130, $140 not that long ago. Here we can take a look at the past chart. So it was going for as high as $146 back in March. Then for a while kind of flatlined and went all the way up to $130. And then as of recently, you've just seen it go down, and it has just been progressively going down on a chart to the point of where we're now sitting at around $112. I'd be interested to see if you can find Astral Radiance booster boxes. Radiance booster box. I'd be interested to see what you could probably get the Astral Radiance booster box for. Looks like eBay, you can find it as cheap as $108 for some places. You can probably find it if we go in the shopping category, not images, sorry. You probably find it cheaper, I gotta assume, but I mean, you're talking about being able to buy it for $109, probably around $105 if I were to guess, and maybe if you're lucky, as low as $100. So as far as this set goes from an affordability perspective, it is now dirt cheap. Like people, the hype is not here for this set, not to mention the fact that we had Pokemon Go news come out. I think Pokemon Go, the set, is going to it's going to overshadow it. It's kind of what happened with Fusion Strike. If you take what happened with Fusion, the amount of people that, you know, were super excited about Evolving Skies, and then Celebrations was coming out, and then people are like, oh, I'm saving up all my money for Evolving, and then Celebrations, and then all of a sudden Fusion comes out and people are like, oh, I've got money fatigue, I might want to get some, but I might have to pass on it. And then Brilliant Star comes out, and then people are like, oh my goodness gracious, yeah, I'm just gonna pass on Fusion altogether and get Brilliant. Like, having sets like that where they're just caught in the middle of like 3 of the best sets of the year, it's kind of, or the era even, of Sword and Shield, it's kind of tough for you to compete with that. So if you're saying Astral Radiance, right? Astral Radiance, Brilliant Star was the last set that came out. A lot of people are hyped to that. We're still waiting for a bigger reprint. We had a reprint like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it was such a minor reprint. It didn't really affect the booster box prices. If we go and take a look of the actual market itself, yeah, I mean, it's sitting at 137. I think we saw it as low as 125 in some places, so it hasn't really affected the general price. Then we're waiting for an Evolving Skies reprint potentially happening either this month or next month, is the general expectation from what we've heard from rumors. And so it's like there's so many different items that people are bracing for on top of Pokemon Go, which everyone was like, I don't know if Pokemon Go is going to do good. And then all of a sudden we hear that Pokemon Go is announced, or the Pokemon companies announced that Pokemon Go is going to include shiny 3 starters. And you're like, that has never happened before where we've had a shiny Venusaur. This is the second time in history we've had a shiny Blastoise. And so it's just once again going to overshadow Astral Radiance. So that is another reason why I could see the price of the booster box going down. And it's just one of these things where it's an unfortunate situation. Once again, it's caught in the middle of a lot of really good sets. It's, of course, not having the same character cards that are going to potentially save it. And then last point that I really want to make with this, and this is actually a little bit of hopium for those people that are like, I like Astral Radiance, I think it'll do good, or investment perspective. One thing I will say is, for those people that didn't watch the last video, I'll discuss it on this one. I came out with my allocation numbers. Other people have talked about their allocation numbers, but so usually I want to say if you combine wave 1, wave 2, I usually get around 100-ish booster boxes, give or take, right? So wave 1, it's typically like 50 something, and then wave 2, it's usually like 50 something or more, right? So my Astral Radiance wave 1, I got 54 booster boxes. My Astral Radiance wave 2, I got 2 booster boxes. There's been a lot of reports of other individuals saying that they've had the same thing happen to them, where they've basically had 0 wave 2 product. And so what that basically tells us is the Pokemon company is not printing a lot of the set. Now, whether they did it on purpose, like whether it was intentional because they knew the set wasn't going to be high demand and there's some competitively viable cards they want to throw in here, or whether it's one of these things where they're more focused on getting reprints out for other high demand sets, and they weren't really putting the focus towards Astral Radiance, however you want to look at it. Either way, if you take a look at sets such as Rebel Clash, which is an absolutely atrocious set, Sword and Shield Base, which is nothing special, even these sets have, absolutely popped off in price. I mean, if we want to go back and just take a look, do a little bit of an advanced search on the overall price of Rebel Clash for a booster box, even a set such as Rebel Clash can have value upwards of $180. I think we're talking, Sword and Shield Base that's probably sitting at around $220 if I were to guess last time we saw. Yeah, it's around $220. So it's like even sets such as these, which no one really cares about, it's gonna also have, if it has a high or it has a low supply and a mediocre demand, if that supply is low enough, the value of the booster box can go up over time. So the interesting question will be is I talk about my general strategy playing the wave in regards to investing in Pokemon product, which playing the wave, for those people that don't know, I'll give you like the kind of brief point of it. Basically, you see a lot of pre-order prices come off really low. If you had invested in, say, Evolving Skies, for example, Evolving Skies pre-order prices you can get for as low as 110. Then I want to say about a week to the lead up of the set, you saw prices start to go up, and then a couple weeks afterwards, before Wave 2 came out, you saw the price eventually almost hit $200, and then you heard news of reprint. If you had, of course, bought in at around that 110 pre-order price, like loaded up, and then you sold right before you found out about the reprint, which, like I said before, I'll make sure to keep you guys up to date every single time a reprint happens. You'll always hear the news here first, typically before most people. because I work closely with distributors. And then after that, if you would decide to once again pick up some of the booster boxes after the reprint, and then you are now sitting pretty with the current price, that is what's called playing the waves. It's basically after a wave is released or before a set is released, you play the low of the price. Now, this is not financial advice. This is not I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and understand you're taking your own risk. Astral Radiance, although it's a mediocre set, there is an argument to be made that considering that people are going to be sleeping on it because it's so low value of a set, and the demand for this set is going to be, extremely low, but the supply is also going to be extremely low. There's an argument to be made that there could be value for those people that are looking to invest in a set like Astral Radiance or have already purchased it and asking themselves, is this something I should keep? Is this something I should open? What should I do with Astral Radiance? That is something I feel like is very important to really understand. Not to mention the fact of the matter, since the set's not been released yet, of course we won't know this answer yet, but when taking a look at the set list, one of the other things we still have yet to find out is how's the card's going to be from a competitively viable perspective, right? Because if you take a set such as like Fusion Strike, for example, Fusion Strike, it has some cards that are worth quite a bit of money, even if they're not one of the alternate arts that is pulled. Like, for example, the Mew VMAX. This card's worth, $24-25 because it's an alternate art. Or no, sorry, not because it's an alternate art. It's not. It's just a standard VMAX because it's a competitively viable card. Gengar is pushing almost $15. Just the standard Mew V is sitting at around $5. Genesect sitting at around $4. Now, the prices on these were actually a lot higher not that long ago because the Genesect and Mew deck is it's still a competitively viable set. It's just not as highly viable as it used to be. But still, with that being said, you can still find value in other sets for pulls that can make up for your money that you've spent when it comes to buying the booster box, especially if it's already a low booster box price. Not to mention you talk about some of the other cards that you could potentially pull to make up for value on common cards and uncommon cards like trainers. You've got 40 cents for a battle pass. You've got quick balls at 30 cents, adventure discovery at 50 cents. So you have a lot of these competitively viable cards that you can still make up for your losses on if you're just trying to open at an affordable price and you're trying to lose the least amount of money possible if you're trying to just master set it through only opening. So there is still hope for Astral Radiance. We don't know what it's going to look like from a competitively viable set till we get closer and closer and we see how the competitive market reacts to playing with a lot of these cards and so on and so forth. But this is something that's still very important for a lot of people to understand because a lot of people don't really, take in consideration the competitive aspect of this, set or this game, because a lot of the times people look back for the competitive, or they look back from a collectability perspective, which for those people that look at it from that perspective, you should look at it through both lenses, because a lot of the times when you see these reprints that I'm able to, quote unquote predict, most of the time it's not really that hard for me to predict it because I just understand the general standard format rotation of Pokemon competitive play, and if it's in the standard rotation, it's more than likely going to have a high chance of being reprinted. Not everything will, but it's more than likely going to, because Pokemon Company cares first and foremost for the competitive game, because that's what's going to keep the trading card game alive, because that's what it is first and foremost. Once again, with that being said, for Astral Radiance, I think there's hope to it. I think there's hope. If you want to take that risk, obviously it's your personal decision, and you want to say, I'm going to go buy Astral Radiance booster boxes for 100, 105, and sure, I mean, the set is about 3 weeks away, so there is an argument to be made that we could see a drop-off and then a pickup right before the set. I mean, if we take a look at what happened basically with right before the set was released with Evolving Skies. Oh, looks like we don't have it. History on it. We'll go with Pokedata.io. They're going to help us out here. All right, let's go to sets, and then let's go to, we're going to take a look at Evolving Skies and see if we can try and make some predictions here. Actually, I should go with booster boxes. All right, so Evolving Skies booster boxes. If we want to make some predictions, so Evolving Skies, obviously it got to, like I said, as low as 105, 110. Of course, this is representing 115, but I saw places, including my website, for selling them for relatively cheaper than this. And then you saw basically, I mean, look at this. This is 814. The set came out sometime near the end of April. So where are we right now? 513. Or sorry, near the end of August. We're at 513 right now. So we're basically in the same pocket that happened with Evolving Skies. So if you're going to play the wave strategy, this is the time to buy. Because right before this happened when Evolving Skies, you knew Evolving Skies was going to be a really popular set. Look what decided to happen all of a sudden. It started to climb. Now, of course, that's because a lot of people started FOMO because they realized how good of a set Evolving Skies was, and also people wanted to gain access to the set right before release. And that's just something that's very important to kind of keep into consideration. You saw the same thing happen, of course, with Brilliant Star. We take a set like Brilliant Star and we say, all right, well, how was Brilliant Star? So it was at 113, right? Set, of course, was just sitting, low for a little bit. And then, of course, right before it was about to get announced, it's not represented on this chart, actually. Here, we'll take a look, and it'll be a better represented chart if we take a look at it on here. So here's what you can actually see happen on the chart. So you have pre-orders early on. It saw its low. For those that don't know, once again, the set release was end of February. So about a month in advance, I want to say a month and a half. You saw it really start to bottom out, and then what happened right before release? Price just started to shoot up and climb. So it's not an uncharacteristic thing to happen to see a set like Astral Radiance bomb right now and then eventually pick up near. So honestly, it's not a bad strategy because once again, we're playing the waves here for you to pick some up right now and then potentially play the risk of it going up, especially considering from what we know so far, the set is going to be a very low printed set. So the risk of a reprint or the risk of wave 2 coming out and absolutely slapping you, it's very low as far as it stands right now with the information we currently know. Of course, take everything I say with a grain of salt because we could all of a sudden be hit with a huge wave that no one knows about, but that's just the risk you're going to be taking. And at the end of the day, you're already getting the price for so low. It's not a huge, it's not a huge risk to reward ratio, right? The risk compared to the reward is pretty low. Like you say to yourself, you say to yourself, all right, let's say I'm buying these booster boxes for $100, right? $105. You probably find it somewhere. I would be shocked if you couldn't find it anywhere for that cheap, right? At this point, you say to yourself, you can go get it for 100, 105. Let's say all of a sudden they say, hey, wave 2 is going to be a massive reprint. We lied. Everyone got allocated X amount, but we're holding some back, or we're behind on print. And now we're going to print a ton more, right? If that were to happen, worst case scenario, your booster boxes drop, probably low 80s to, 90s. So your booster boxes are dropping, $15 depending upon the price you got in at. That's not super high risk. Sure, you're going to be losing money on the back end from an investment perspective, but what it's going to take for you to gain that back, especially in a volatile market such as Pokemon, it's not going to take much. And you can always dollar cost average in and then bring your average down. If you're saying, hypothetically speaking, let's say you bought 10 booster boxes, right? And I'll just say one for the sake of this. Let's say you buy 10 booster boxes, $100. Price goes down. Let's say it goes all the way down to, $85. Got one for 85. Divide that by 2. What's your now dollar cost average? 92.50. So you're now priced to break even is just $7 higher. And if you don't think that it hits a low and then $7 higher off of a 1-to-1 ratio of what you're being able to invest in, I mean it's relatively low risk, and the reward or the potential payoff could actually be extremely high if you're willing to take that from an investment perspective. So having the hindsight to understand that even a set, once again, such as Rebel Clash, Sword and Shield performs well based off a low supply, there's an argument to be made that Astral Radiance, which is far better set than both of those, can potentially perform well because from what we know, it's going to be a low supply set. You're already able to get it at relatively cheap, and historically right before the set release comes out, you do see that high price point of people kind of last second FOMOing into it. And then of course, depending upon how the waves go after that is where you could really see potentially gaining some more value off of that, or if you want to take profit off of the hype before the set is released, because inevitably there's going to be some people that are going to want to FOMO hype into the set right before. So if you want to play the waves, that's probably going to be the most appropriate way if I were to personally do it in any sort of strategy form. But yeah, like I said as many times before, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. But that is just one way to approach looking at Astral Radiance on how it could potentially still, make you a return on investment if you are looking at this from an investment perspective. But outside of that, wrapping up the main points of the video, point number 1 of the video, we got the final set list for Astral Radiance. Did it have any character cards that I felt as if was going to save the set? No, it was mainly Ice Rider Calyrex, Shadow Rider Calyrex, and a couple of other just regular character rares that we're not going to add any value. 2, we've now seen a consensus in the market that it's got an overwhelming lack of demand. People are not the most excited for the set, especially considering it's going to be overlooked by the Pokemon Go set, which is going to have the shiny 3 starters. And then 3, having a conversation about what could still be some hopium for the set. Basically is, from what we know, it's going to be a very low supply set, so there still is opportunity to invest in this set, in the short term to play the wave strategy. So if you want to, once again, go see my full strategy, you can just roll back the video on what you could potentially do to still find some opportunity when it comes to investing in this set in the short term. But as far as it goes, that is all I have for today's video. As always, make sure if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, be subscribed, leave a like, comment down below on any of the videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, each winner is going to be receiving 12 Brilliant Star Booster Packs. We've got 3 winners, so 3 opportunities to win and then 4 opportunities to enter. So a lot of just opportunity all the way around for free product. So, but as far as it goes, that is all I have once again for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you guys on Monday. Peace.